Hi, Anti-Society. Welcome back to the Anti-Social Planet, and today we are reading chapters 37 and 38 of Tower of God. So we got into a new challenge test thing, the next part of their, I guess, study section, because they're still sort of like in that section where they're like learning stuff and going to classes and what have you. But we have this hide and seek game that's happening. It's a little bit more like manhunt tag kind of vibes to it, in my opinion, but it's hide and seek game where we have the two teams, Team A and Team B. Team A is currently in the middle of it, and they're going up against Quant, I'm pretty sure his name is, who is the ranker with the red hair that we've seen around Hansang throughout the story. So we're going up against a ranker. All of them can kind of work together within the team to be able to get out of this little maze thing or to get the badge off of the person who is it. So at the moment we have Team A who are trying to figure out some way to go up against Quant. I'm assuming that they have a good plan because we have people like Kun and Shibitsu on the same team. We have Lorei there too, but he seems to be kind of tapping out in this one. But ended off the last video with Shibitsu coming face to face with Quant when they couldn't track him. They thought that Kun would be able to track his movements while they were in this test, and that seems to not be the case. So I think we're going to see some of what Quant is capable of and maybe some adjustments to their plan. But Team B just kind of hanging out, waiting for their turn, you know, kind of like we had with the bonus round where some people were involved and some weren't. But I'm very excited to see how their training has affected them. I feel like the only person we've really seen them utilize their training is like Bomb. We've seen him growing his ability to use Shinsu, but we haven't really like seen what like Kun and Shibitsu have been like doing. We saw Shibitsu had like a friend list. That was pretty much all we saw of him progressing in his training. So I'm excited to kind of see where everyone's at and see where this test is going to take us, which is hopefully not super stressful, but also it's Tower of God, so it could be very action heavy or a fun time. We could go either way because sometimes we're kind of half and half. One of the chapters will be like really intense and the other one will be really funny. So I don't know where we're gonna end up, but let's get into chapter 37. Okay, chapter 37. Why are we slamming our fists down onto the table? Oh, because we don't like the team? I like how Endorsi's just like sitting there like, excuse me? I think that would be her. She'd be like, I don't want to be on your team either, random dude. I mean, we got Rachel lurking like she usually does. Yeah, good thing you corrected that one because she is a princess of Jihad, so like maybe don't get on her bad side. Partly because I know Endorsi can like hold her own, but I also don't know, is there like an etiquette to how to interact with princesses of Jihad? Because like princesses in like the normal sense of like royalty, there's like a certain etiquette of how to interact with people of the royal family. Obviously speaking from like a Westerner's perspective, so like it's going to be different in other people's cultures. And I know that like the princesses of Jihad aren't princesses in the sense of like normal royalty, but I'm assuming that they have a certain amount of respect to the title. So I'm assuming that there's a way to interact with them, and if you do not interact correctly, they are a group of very talented warriors, and maybe don't make them angry. Maybe. Rachel's still trying to pretend like Bomb doesn't know that who she is, because he definitely knows. He's just confused. Look at his sad face. I feel so bad for him. Are the rankers that good? I mean, I still feel like they're underestimating Quant. I feel like they are much better than we are giving them credit for. I think Team A has something in mind, but I still feel like they're not quite realizing what they're up against, because we have only kind of briefly seen rankers in any kind of combat circumstance. Even I don't know fully what rankers are capable of, but they scare me, and I think they should. Ooh, I love that transition though, where it has like the graininess, which implies that it's like a screen, and then boom, parallel shot, but this one doesn't have it, so we're like back into the normal scene. It's a good detail. I like it. Is that supposed to be Shibitsu? Where's the purple tracksuit? I mean, he probably is trying to be obvious. I don't know if they're trying to be super sneaky necessarily, especially since like the more you think you know what someone's plan is, or like you think you know how they're going to act, the harder it is for you to think of other possibilities. So I feel like part of the plan is also trying to make Quant think that he already knows what they're going to be doing and what their plan is and what people's parts are in that, because even me at this moment being like, oh, Shibitsu must be the bait. Is he necessarily though? There can be layers to the plan. I went back after the last chapters before I started reading this to see the panels to see if Shibitsu actually had like the badge thing to say that he was like and it doesn't look like he has one, and it doesn't look like that is the case here either. Couldn't they just put it in Kun's bag and be done with it? Maybe that's cheating. See, and I feel like because he's like, this is their only plan, especially since he's like, whoever's actually it is going off and doing something else, I feel like he's very focused on Shibitsu, and like, we're also very focused on like the small little area that's like lit up. So what if there's like other stuff going on and we're just like not focused on it? Is he correct? I mean, he seems confident. Shibitsu seems to be acknowledging that perhaps this is right. I wonder which wave controller it is. Don't they have two? Right, because Bam and Ho are on Team B. So then Lorraine and Leotard Girl are on this team. There might be three on this team, because aren't there 5 wave controllers? Now I'm doubting everything that I know. Also, I'm assuming lighthouses for the light bearers is like what Kun was using with all of the like screens and stuff. We're doing a pop quiz. I mean, it would be a good distraction. One of the Guardians of the Galaxy movies where like Star-Lord starts dancing and that's like how he distracts. That's how he like helps his teammates win the battle. That's what it makes me think of. Is the number important to like navigating? Because if different areas are numbered, then perhaps that's a way of like navigating through the space. Maybe I'm thinking too much about this. This could be like Hansang's floor where I was like trying so hard to have galaxy brain. Ooh dang. I really do not like that facial expression. I wonder how much of this is authentic and how much of it is an act though. Like, what is the actual plan? Is this Wings guy? Tis. Good shot. I don't think it'll meet its mark though. See, and like, I wonder if they're still doing like obvious tricks, if that's like the intention. I like the shadow work in this panel though too, where he's like literally like looming over Shibitsu, so there's a shadow cast on him. High jump. Excuse me? What is this threat about blinding people? Oh, is that what the lighthouse is? So is that how he's communicating, like Kun is communicating with Shibitsu? Was with the like box thing? There goes a light source though. You're gonna have to use some other senses, come up with a different plan. So that's what we're talking about, blinding. Cool. I just got to the part in Bleach with the blinding and it was literal blinding, so I'm a little on edge about that kind of a threat. But it was just like taking out the light source, so then it's like temporarily blind. I like how he's like sinking into the shadows, like you can still kind of vaguely see him even though it's like darkness, which is a nice effect. It's a good touch. You could have just done like a black background, but I like that we can still kind of see him in the panel. I like the light from his eyes too. We did that before when he was coming out of the shadows. Ooh, I feel like this is part of the plan. We're trying to lure him in close to Shibitsu because they're all saying checkmate, and Kun still seems to be cool and collected. Another lighthouse? Light source? Hello, Anak the Second. Is she it? Yeah, see, I was like, I don't know, because they weren't trying to run away and get to the exit. So obviously the bait wasn't about, let's direct him here, and then we're going to be in the other direction trying to get it out through the exit, and then the test is over. They were like, let's just go after him. So everybody's probably there. Going for the badge. I mean, Anak is a good, I mean, I talked about her being the one that was just going to like go after the badge. She'd be like, here for that, the aggression of that move, but also the fact that she's very good at like long distance offense, I think also lends really well to her being one of the people who tries to take the badge away, or at least click it. I guess they just have to like click it, right, so it changes color. Black what now? What happened? Why is there darkness? Hello, random hand? Onceler? What's happening? Uh-oh. What happens when you run out of line? I love the whole like shadow and light thing. There's just like a really high contrast of shadows, which immediately brings to mind this idea of like duality, right? And I feel like there's like this person that they're thinking Quant is as like the kind of like teacher with something to prove. He seems kind of bombastic and a little bit ridiculous, you know? And then there's like the side that's a ranker, and it's kind of like the shadowy side where he's like far more composed and focused and has a lot more skill than they would have thought. The crazed looks though from him makes me a little unsettled. Is this what rankers are like? Because, you know, I assume going through the tower and getting to the top and then like continuing to work there doesn't exactly leave you like mentally stable. Uh-oh. Lororo's got, see, Lororo was also like nervous about them going up against Quant. Like even though it's Quant, even Lororo is kind of like about him. Like I feel like Lororo is maybe more skilled than him, but even he was like that's not fair to them because they're not skilled enough. So if Lororo is worried about their safety going up against Quant, I'm worried. And then Hong Sung just like enjoying their coffee, their instant coffee. On to the next chapter. Okay, chapter 38. Let's see what Quant has to show us. I did really like the like blackfish thing where I don't really know what the ability specifically is, but the fact that I don't know if he moved really fast or like what, he like shifted his space from like being in the light into the shadow. Oh no, we can't see his eyes. That's always a bad sign. And Lororo seems like he kind of knows what's coming and it also worries him. See, like in that switch again, that's like what I was talking about, the duality, like going from this kind of facial expression to this. It's like the two personas kind of fighting with each other of like which one, like the everyday kind of persona and then the focused it's time to fight persona. I like how he's gone back into that kind of bombastic personality and everyone else is just like, that's not where I thought this was going. I mean, we've only seen 3 of the teammates, Shibitsu, Anak, and Kun. So they could have some other plans up their sleeve. Oh, and the wings guy. Almost forgot about the spear. Yeah, why 32 minutes and 13 seconds exactly is the meaning of the number selection? Plan B, running? But is it like just Shibitsu and Anak that are running? Are we setting up for a new attack? Because them running might just be like the first step. I really want to know what Quant's, I don't know, ability is. Whatever the thing was that Lororo was afraid that he was going to do, because we've hinted at it now, and I would like to know, but like not towards Shibitsu, I guess. I quite like him. This goes back to what I was saying earlier, where in the last video I was like, I feel like because no one has gone up against a ranker yet, that I'm assuming they've like met rankers, they've been around rankers, they've been taught by them, but no one's actually had to fight one, that no one really has a good estimate about what it's like, because there are lots of things in life that you just don't know until you've done it, and I feel like no one really knows how powerful and skilled a ranker is until you've actually had to fight one in earnest. You know, not just like training, not just seeing them kind of show off some of their abilities like we've seen with like Lororo and others, but legitimately having to fight them for your life. And I feel like that's something that just none of them have had to do until this point. And even now he's like not legitimately trying to fight them. Like Quant isn't actually trying to hurt any of Team A, which is pointed out by Lororo, where he's like, he obviously like held himself back in this confrontation, even though he wanted to kind of let loose. He decided to like revert back to that more like safe, joking kind of persona. So even in this context, no one's like legitimately trying to hurt them. So I think even now we're not fully seeing what a ranker is. It's gonna be terrifying when we actually do. Like I feel like it's just gonna be like really something else. There are rankers in his family. I know that like Kun is like his family name and not his first name, so there are rankers in it. So but like again, like I was saying, I'm like, Kun has met rankers, he's probably never had to fight one, so there's like a difference between like being told that someone's really powerful and then seeing it happen. But he also might have a trick up his sleeve. I didn't expect when he like had the briefcase of dimensional magic, so he might have a trick up his sleeve. We haven't actually seen anyone with the badge yet, because even though it was like implied that Anak had it, I don't think we saw her wearing it. Hong Sung seems to have an idea that Kun might be able to see what all of the strings are. I feel like Han Sung had a particular interest in Kun because we had some comments between them whenever they've like actually met each other, or like Hong Sung's been talking about Kun, so I feel like Han Sung knows something. We have a little diagram. Ooh, there's like levels to it too. I didn't realize that it wasn't just one level with like walls and stuff. There's like different layers that you have to go up through. So you have like Kun, Anak, I don't know where Shibitsu is because I'm assuming that that's Quant in the middle. It was a very exact number, so I also feel like he knew exactly how much time he could give them for them to get close enough to the exit, but not enough for them to actually get through. Where was Spear Guy on our diagram? Hold on. Is that what the dots are maybe? I can only tell this Anak because it's got a tail. Gone. Okay. Are there multiple? I guess there's like exit down here and then the one across the bridge. Okay. So that's one place. Are we going to like multiple areas? Okay, so here's some other members of the team. Spear guy that we had before. See, isn't this girl also a wave controller? I feel like she is. Okay, another light bearer. Oh, I love the use of shadows. I love how it's just like really dark in this area. So they have to have the lighthouses to make it work. And it just offers so much. There's almost like a horror element to it of like coming in at the shadows in the dark and like being hunted and stuff. I've definitely had a nightmare like this before. Okay, so they've like limited the Shinsu, which we've kind of learned about the like measurements of it. I don't know if my brain fully understands how the amounts apply in actual practice because I haven't really seen it enough. I'm hoping that that's a mechanic that like continues to be further expanded on in terms of just like getting more instances of like exact amounts being used so that I can kind of gauge how it works. Ooh, hello. Weird shadowy thing. He had that like black fish thing, which also seemed to be kind of shadowy. Oh, we're just going for the let's attack and hope that we hit something tactic, because that seems a little bit sloppy. And there's lots of people around, so make sure you don't hit each other. We're on a team, remember. Oh no, I like your spirit, but I don't think this is gonna go well. We're on stairs too. I'm very worried about people falling downstairs. It's a good way to get hurt. See? 15. See, I was like, are the numbers important? I feel like they are for navigating. Like the higher the number is, the closer to the exit you are, maybe? Because this 15 is higher than 9, which we saw before. So I'm assuming the lowest number is at like the beginning, and then as you progress closer, the numbers go up, and that's how you like know whether or not you're going the right direction. I mean, I don't think we need damage property, but okay. Again, good spirit. I don't think it's gonna work. They're just trying to hold him in place though, right? Like Kuhn said they needed at least 5 minutes of him being cut off. I don't know if that's gonna happen. It seems like this is moving pretty fast. Uh-oh. At least he didn't flip him down the stairs like he did with the other guy. That lighting choice though. Is he gone? Uh-oh. Is he not? Oh dear. Maybe I spoke too soon about him getting beat up. Does he know? He seems to like know what their plan's gonna be. I mean, I think that's part of his job though, so I guess it makes sense. See, I was like, I feel like this is moving fast. Everyone's just like cheering like it's a sports event. I mean, I guess they're like, they want to win, so the team that wins gets more points. But I would be more worried. I'd be like, y'all have to go up against that ranker afterwards. I guess it is kind of exciting though. See, I feel like you're missing the point. Team A might fail, but you still have to like succeed. You could also fail. I'm just saying. And so they were talking about the concentrate of Shinsu. I feel like it's different in this area than it was for like Evankel's floor in general, which is slowing them down, which might put their like estimates of how much time it's going to take them to like get from one place to another a little bit off. Where will he appear next? We're gonna see the eyes pop up. No, it's the end. Oh, this definitely went in the direction that I thought it was going to go in, where I was like, I don't think it's going to be as easy to go up against this ranker as everyone seems to believe it is, because you never actually had to fight one before. And I know that like Quant is one of probably the lower ranking ones. Like he's probably not as strong as some of the other ones that we've met. Like we've met like Lady Yuri and Lororo and Hong Sang. So I feel like probably on the lower end of power, at least from the rankers that we've seen. And even with him, I was like, I don't think this is going to be as easy as you think. Or we're like, oh, we'll just go up against him. We'll trick him. We'll outmaneuver him. Especially since I don't think they fully knew what they were getting into. Like being the first team, you don't really know what the test is going to be like until you're there. So I feel like Team B should be taking more notes than like cheering, because I feel like they're kind of missing the point of what's going to happen to them when they actually have to go up against Quant. But I don't think that they knew like really what Quant was going to be capable of, what it was going to be like with the higher concentration of Shinsu as they like progress up the levels of this stage, and like dealing with the shadows and stuff like that, and the way that like Quant just has like a bunch of experience in being a ranker as someone who's gone to the top of the tower and been working in the tower for probably a long time. Age of the rankers is kind of ambiguous, so I don't really know how old anyone is, but it's cool to see even just like a little hint of what it's like to actually be a ranker, because I think one, it kind of puts in perspective of what the other rankers that we've met are, like where their power set is in terms of how powerful they are, but I think it also puts into perspective what kind of challenges the tower has, because we've seen a few up to this point, and it's mostly been the regulars going up against each other, and there's some pretty powerful people in that, in terms of like, if you're just a normal person. But at the same time, there's so much more danger in what the tower is, and you have to be that strong someone who has the capabilities of someone like Quant to progress through the tower and actually be able to come out the other side of it. So I think it just does a really good job of foreshadowing what exactly they're dealing with. And we were kind of talking before about Baum not really knowing what he was getting himself into by going to the tower. It was really an impulsive thing for him going after Rachel. And I feel like even Rachel doesn't know fully what she was getting into. Like she was like, oh, I want to see the stars, I want to have freedom, so I'll go to the tower. And now kind of dealing with the consequences of that decision. Like I feel like even other people who were like, yeah, I want to make it to the tower. We even saw that earlier on in F and Kel's floor with the like wall of Shinsu, where we had people who were like, yeah, I'm gonna make it to the top of the tower and it'll be fine, and then just not making it. So I feel like a lot of people don't fully understand what it means to be in the tower and what dangers are part of that. And I think we're starting to get into the really more dangerous stuff, which I feel like is why they are taking the time to train them, because they're like, there's no way you survive unless we help you out and like get you a contract so you can use Shinsu and give you some kind of skill set and teach you how to work with other people, because you're not going to survive very long if you don't. And like the tower is supposed to be dangerous, right? Because it's supposed to like weed out potential threats. So it's just, I'm fascinated by like the world building of the tower, and I feel like I've barely seen any of it, and at the same time it's like beyond my brain's capability of like really putting it into something concrete that I can understand. I can't wait to see where the plan goes as we hopefully wrap up what Team A's part in this and see what Team B ends up doing. We haven't seen Lorraine yet, so maybe we'll see something with Lorraine as they get closer to the exit. You can click this playlist to go and see my previous reactions, or you can subscribe so you don't miss the next time I post a Tower of God video, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!